After Judah's plea that he take his brother Benjamin's place in prison, after Joseph realized that his brothers are now changed men, after Judah is ready to give his life for his little brother Benjamin, instead of throwing him in a pit and selling him off to be a slave, it got too much for Joseph. He cried out for everyone to leave the room, except for his brothers. As everyone filed out of the room, they could hear Joseph weeping. Then he blurts out, "I'm Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now don't be pained. Don't let it make you rage at yourselves because you sold me here, because it was to save life that God sent me before you, because this has been 2 years of famine within the country, and there will be 5 more years in which there will be no plowing or reaping. But God sent me before you to put in place for you a group remaining on the earth, to keep it alive for you as a big escape group. So now, it was not you who sent me here, but God." What a remarkable turn of events. Not just the big reveal of his true identity, but his ability to see everything that happened to him as God's work in his life. God was at work especially in the hard moments, because you sold me here, Joseph says. I don't want to say that every terrible thing that happens is just God doing something wonderful. Some tragedies don't have easy answers and aren't just simple moments for God to use us, but this one was. And yet, if Joseph really believed this, if his brothers had to sell him into slavery for this remarkable turn of events to come to pass, so that the whole world would be spared from starvation, why did he test his brothers the way he did? He didn't have to put them through all that, and their father. As soon as he rose to his high position in Egypt, he could have sent for his family. He didn't need to frighten them with the returned silver and the divination cup in Benjamin's sack. He didn't have to jail Simon and set up his little brother. If it was all just God's will, then all of this could have been much easier. That might be a good question to ponder. Joseph told his brothers to go back to Canaan and to bring back their father. Joseph said that they would all live in Egypt with him in the fertile and beautiful region of Goshen. They would have exalted status in Egypt because they are brothers of the man in charge. Joseph flung his arms around the neck of his little brother Benjamin, and he cried. Then he wept with his other brothers. They all cried and hugged it out. Word reached Pharaoh that Joseph's brothers were in Egypt. He told Joseph that his country was their country. They were to take a group of royal chariots and go and fetch the rest of the clan and bring them back to Egypt. They got home, and the first thing they told their father was that Joseph was alive. Then they told him that he was running Egypt. Which of those two things do you think surprised him the most? Jacob, Israel, was slow to believe them, but when they showed him the royal wagon that Joseph had sent for his father's travels, the reality of this miracle finally hit home.